Crawl, directed by Alexandre, starring Kaya Scodelario, Barry Pepper, and Ross Anderson. A young woman, while attempting to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped in a flooding house and must fight for her life against alligators. I've been a fan of Alexandre's films since High Tension and The Hills Have Eyes, which I think are both fantastic films, and I even enjoyed Horns and Piranha 3D. So my expectations going into Crawl was that we were going to have a fun creature feature with tons of gore and basically a fun popcorn flick, and that's exactly what I got. This is a film that you gotta go into with no expectations. Don't really think about the plot and the plot holes because it will kind of annoy you, at least it did for me, in terms of how certain things happened, why characters are making certain decisions, and I was also not a big fan of the backstory of our main protagonist. It's not that there was any bad acting per se, and it's definitely more B-movie level acting, which is totally fine for a film like this. But I did feel that the storyline about the father and daughter was a bit forced, and I also felt that there was a major plot convenience with her being a swimmer, and that kind of made me chuckle a little bit because it was definitely plot convenience to be able to set up certain action set pieces. So this basically follows a young woman who is a swimmer. She's going to check up on her dad because her other sister can't get in contact with her. She finds her dad in the crawl space of their old family home, and he's been attacked by an alligator. And in this crawl space, there's a few alligators, and even outside, there are several of them. What I liked about this film is the alligators. They're done really well. There's a few times where the CGI looked a little bit off, but overall, the way that the alligators looked was pretty convincing. And when they do pop up, it's terrifying. And what I liked was that we get to see the whole alligator, and we get to see the alligator actually attack people. There's even a point where about 4 or 5 different alligators converge on one person, and I loved the carnage candy that ensued in that scene. And anytime that there's an alligator attack, it's really well done. There's really great gore, the sounds of the bones crunching and the teeth going into the flesh, you can hear it all in the surround sound, and I loved that about this film. It definitely made me cringe a few times because it was just so audible, the bone crunching. I also liked the set design. It was pretty well done. There were a couple of points where I felt like it was definitely on a set or in some kind of an indoor pool, but it didn't take me out of the overall film. The thing that just bogged this movie down, though, was when the father and daughter would talk about her being a swimmer and a survivor and an apex hunter. It just kind of came across a little too cheesy, and it didn't really add anything to the film. I didn't feel a deep connection to these characters. I feel like there could have been some moments that could have been trimmed down, especially some of the flashback scenes. Our protagonist as a kid with her dad at a swim meet, that flashback comes up a few times, and it didn't really add anything for me to the film or to the characters. If anything, it actually slowed down the momentum of the film. That's not to say that there aren't thrilling moments, because there are. When Aha focuses on the action set pieces, the alligators attacking someone, the buckets of blood and gore just filling the water, and you see the water turning red, and you'll see a dead body floating around with all the teeth marks in it. That's when Aha is on his game, and that's when the film is at its best. And I feel like if the film had focused more on that, it could have been a bit stronger. Because there were a few moments where the protagonist would make certain decisions that were just like, but why would you do that? And I get it. It's to further progress the story, but it didn't really do anything to heighten the stakes. If anything, it just made you go, but why? If you're into creature features, you'll enjoy this. It definitely delivers on that aspect. For me, I'd say that this is more of a weekend rental. I'd wait for it to come on Amazon Prime or Netflix or rent it when it comes out. It's not one that I would add to my collection just because I don't really feel like there's a lot of rewatchability with this film. But again, that's not to say it's a bad movie. It's a fun movie for what it is. And if you're just looking for a fun popcorn flick with a bunch of alligators just messing people up, you'll have a good time with Crawl. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you guys next time.